Right, good afternoon, kids. How you doing? It's a lovely day outside. It's sunny. We're all kind of stuck inside in our houses and our gardens. It's a bit hard work, isn't it? Really, I have to say. Well, I'm up in my study. I've got one of my guitars out here. This could get very interesting. I'm not that brilliant. That sounds good, but we'll give it a go. See if we can do a verse of a song that you might know. You probably better to get your mum to play it for you, or your dad or whatever. You know, try to get someone to play it for you at home. If you can find this online, you'll probably recognise it. I danced in the morning when the sky was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. Bethlehem, I had my birth. Darling, stay wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Now, that's a song called Lord of the Dance. That's the first verse. It's an interesting one because it's talks about Jesus in a kind of quite a fun way. Jesus born at Christmas, as you know, with all that lovely stuff that we look forward to and enjoy at Christmas, the angels and everything else. And he's put in a donkey, you know, he came, Mary and Joseph arrived at Bethlehem on a donkey. Do you remember all of that? Way back in end of December. And we recall that in the darkness, and it was winter and it was very difficult then, that's when Jesus was born. He grew up. And was quite extraordinary. You've heard some of the stories of the things that Jesus did. He fed lots of people, thousands of people. He made people well, made them better. He brought some back from death. He was a good man. Well, he is the Son of God. He is God, and he came along and said, you know, this is how really we should be living, and actually by living well in this world and helping out one another in this world, there will be a bigger gift to come, something even bigger than Christmas. And Christmas is pretty good, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty good, as it were. Something even bigger than Christmas is going to come, not just Jesus coming into our world and living with us. Hey ho! Easter is something about maybe us being able to live in his world. So we find ourselves now with a few days to go before Easter, and we're not in church. It's very difficult, and I know there's lots of stuff at the back of the church that you like to do whilst I'm droning away at the front all dressed up and singing away and stuff like that, and all the music's happening. But even without that, we don't need that in the way, all that churchy stuff, to concentrate on what we're doing at this time of year, getting ready for Easter. The story is, from Christmas, Jesus is now 30-ish years old. I'm a lot older than he was. There we are. I'm trying, but there we are. It's 30-odd years old, and he's come to. The story is he's come to Jerusalem, which is a big city in Israel, and he's come there as he does every year, to go to the big feast, the Jewish feast of Passover, and he's gone and he's had a big party in a house. He arrives and spends a few days around in Jerusalem, the temple, then has a big party. It's called Maundy Thursday for us, Thursday night, Holy Thursday. And they go and have a big party to get ready for the big Passover feast. It's a bit like having a big party on Christmas Eve, as it were, having a nice special meal, and they get ready. And they have lots of fun, and during that meal, it does something very odd. Jesus does something nobody really gets. He takes bread and wine, and sometimes you'll see me, if I move back a bit, just behind the altar here, which is where I'm doing all the services at the moment in my study, I put bread there, and I put wine in that chalice. And he did that, and the apostles, the disciples, those at the party thought, oh, what's he up to? What is he up to? What? I don't know. What is he up to? It doesn't make sense. Jesus said, my body, my blood. And, what's all that about? Anyway, they carried on to the end of the night, not too worried. Uncle Judas slipped out the back door, though. What was he off to do? Well, he went off to tell the people that didn't like Jesus, unfortunately, people running the temple at the time, where they could find him. They didn't like Jesus, and they didn't want rid of him anyway. So he went off, and he told them, chief priests, and they prepared to arrest Jesus. And well, Jesus and the apostles, they finished up their meal, had their cheese and biscuits, said good night to the person that owned the room in Jerusalem, and they headed off back to their friend's house just outside Jerusalem in Bethany, to Mary, Martha and Lazarus. On the way, though, they'd been a bit naughty. They had a little bit too much to drink, a little bit too much wine, and they decided to have a sit down in a nice sort of olive grove called Gethsemane. It's on the way just outside the city gates. They sat down and have a nice little rest, and they've been singing a few songs after a good party. Jesus was quiet. He was a bit quiet. Anyway, well, what happened was that suddenly all these soldiers turned up, and there was a big sort of fight and a push around, and Jesus was arrested, and he was taken away, and he was taken to the chief priests, who wanted rid of him, so they sort of made some stuff up really to send him to the person in charge of the Romans. And the Romans were fairly strict, shall we put it that way. Very strict. Well, it sent him to, the high priest said, he's pretending he's more important than the emperor, so you need to sort something out, need to deal with him. We can't deal with him, only you can. So they sent him to Pilate the next morning, who's the Roman chief governor, and Pilate found himself in a very difficult position, lots of arguing and shouting at him, and in the end Pilate wasn't very nice, to be honest, and he just, I don't care, just kill him, I don't want him. And that was about Jesus. And they took Jesus away, and you would have seen this cross in church, and they killed him, which was really not very nice. And but actually there was something about it, something hidden in the background, and all the friends were a bit lost. And Lord of the Dance, the song I've just been singing to you a minute ago, very badly, it's about those that were trying to follow him, and they were getting a bit stuck. They didn't know what to do with Jesus. So how about this? How about this verse? This is a little later on in the song. I danced on a Friday when the sky turned black. It's hard to dance with the devil on your back. They whipped and they stripped me and hung in high, and left me there on the cross to die. Dance then, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and only you all, wherever you be, and only you all in the dance, said he. Bury my body and thoughts are gone. They thought it was all over. The apostles and the friends of Jesus thought that was it. What was it all for? Wow. I've got news for you. That's not the end of the story. No sirree. Not a long way. They all went home, thought that was it, and they waited until Jesus was put in a tomb in a grave, and they went home. His body was put there, and but 2 days later, 3 days as we call it, the women came back to the tomb just to do the nice thing, to make sure that everything was right. And he got there, and this tomb, which was in a hole in a cave in the side of a rock, whoa, hang on a second, the big stone, like the door, was gone. The tomb was empty, gone, nothing in there. But some of the material that Jesus had been wrapped in was left there. Hang on a second, what's going on here? And Mary Magdalene, who was a good friend of Jesus, she came out, she was all upset, and she saw someone outside and said, "What have you done with Jesus, the body of our friend Jesus?" And this guy stood there. She thought he was a gardener, and he went, "What do you mean, Mary? Huh? She said, Mary? How do you know? How do you know my name? Oh. And she knew who it was. And it was gone. And she went and told the apostles, the Peter and James, John, and the rest of them. And they went, yeah, sure, you've seen Jesus. Of course you have, Mary. Yeah, pull the other one. Well, they thought they'd go and check, just in case. And they went back to the tomb in the cemetery there, and in came the apostles. Peter ran straight in and went, oh, she's right. She's right. He's not here. And they went home. Back to where they were staying, and they locked the doors. They were all scared. They were really scared because what was happening? They locked the doors, crunk with the bolts. They didn't want anyone to come in. And just then, boom! Jesus, standing there, right in the room. Door's locked. How does that happen? That doesn't happen. There he was. And he went, peace be with you. You hear me say that in church, don't you? I do that for Jesus, not for me. I do it for him. Peace be with you, he said. And they went, oh, it's you. Can't believe it. Brilliant. He said, I told you. You didn't believe me. I told you. Now, you'll be fine from now on. Now you can understand. And the Holy Spirit helped them understand what it was about. Now they realised that no longer was death, that cross was the end of it. There was more, there's more. So when we know those people that we love have gone before us, we know that there is more. Heaven, eternity, lovely. Now, that sounds like big stuff. It is big stuff, it's exciting stuff. It gives us all hope as we head through life. Jesus has shown us how to live, and that's the important thing. He's shown us all the good stuff in his life and helped us learn. And we keep doing that. And when we go to church on Sundays and in our own homes, where you are now, on the computer or tablet, laptop, whatever it is, phone, we continue trying to do good stuff with Jesus. We get it wrong sometimes, we get it right. But you know what? He don't mind, because he still loves us. Even dying and rising again is because he loves us and has given us the greatest gift, a gift even bigger than Christmas. You know when you get an Easter egg, when you get an egg, we get an egg there, which is a hard outside to the egg. And if you put an egg in the nest, it just looks like a stone, doesn't it? Until it breaks open and forth comes a new chick. Or crocodile. Anything really. A new life comes out of that egg. From what looked like the tomb comes something new and wonderful. New life. That's what Easter's about. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So, as we're at home, and I don't know what you're planning to do on Easter Day. Might be an egg or two, you never know. Just remember that great gift of Jesus. That the story of Jesus we know, and it sounds so difficult this time of year, turns out into something good. Absolutely brilliant. I stick with that every day. It's what makes me what I am. A bit silly at times, but I'm always hopeful. Hopefully that helps you as we find ourselves in a difficult time at the moment, being hopeful for the future. So let's pray together. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory for ever and ever. Amen. And there's a prayer which will be on those sheets that I've sent to you that we'll pray now. Dear God, thank you for giving us such good gifts for our families who love us, for yummy food and tasty drink, for so many beautiful animals, for parks with tall trees and soft grass, for the birds that fly among the clouds, for seas and streams that are fun to paddle in. And thank you for your Son Jesus. We like to read about him in the Bible. He taught his disciples about you. He healed people who were sick. He walked on water and even died and came back to life. Help us to remember all the things he did and celebrate him at this special day. Amen. Have a cracking Easter, however you do. Look after your pets for me, look after your families for me, and we will get back together as soon as we can. May God bless you. As Father Richard saying, every blessing, and look forward to catching up with you later. Let's give it one last go. That's the last verse of The Lord of the Dance. They cut me down and leapt up high. I am the life that will never, never die. I'll live in you if you live in me. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Dance then, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. And I'll lead you all, wherever you may be. And I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Happy Easter. Ciao.